So Kamala Harris has come out this week and apparently stolen another one of Trump's policy positions, is how the media is reporting it. And this time, is the building of the border wall. Now she wants to build the border wall, be strong on the border. Even though she could do that right now, she's pretending she's not the incumbent. Even not technically, she's not because she's the vice president, but her administration, tied to the Biden administration, they're the incumbents. They're pretending Trump's the incumbent, and that once they get into power, they'll fix everything that Trump has ruined over the last 4 years. Even though he hasn't been in office, they're pretending like he is the one who's been in charge and made everything worse. So she's taking a policy from Trump that she could implement now, but saying, when I'm president, I am going to build the border wall. And this is not the first thing she's taken from Trump. The no tax on tips, she's kind of switched her position on Medicare for all. She doesn't want it. She also doesn't want to ban fracking anymore. So she's taking a lot of Trump's positions. And the annoying thing about this to me is not that she's doing it. I'm not going to complain that she's doing it like most other conservative media personalities are. What I'm going to do is complain about the Republicans' response to this, which is just stupid. Republicans want to whine and complain that Kamala Harris has done what every politician has ever done, which is, I see a good policy, I see people want it, I'm going to take it. I'm going to steal it, and I'm going to run on it. And do I personally believe Kamala will fulfill any of those obligations? No, I don't think she's for any of those things. I think she's flip-flopping immediately to garner support and win the election. But it's going to work. And the reason it can work is because it just proves that the policies that Donald Trump is running on this time are so surface level deep. They're so non-impactful in the grand scheme of things that Kamala Harris can just immediately pick it up and say, I'm going to run on this too. No tax on tips. Yeah, I'll take your little Band-Aid solution to the economic problems facing the country. I think it's a good idea. And shouldn't you, if you support that idea, shouldn't you celebrate and be like, oh my gosh, Kamala wants to build the border wall. I want to build the border wall. That's great. She's adopting a policy I want. Same thing with the no tax on tips. Same thing with the not banning fracking. Like, shouldn't you see that as a win? I get not seeing it as a win if you don't think she's going to do it. Like, I don't think she's going to do it, but it's good that at least the Democrats are saying they want to build the wall now. That's great progress. But no, the Republicans need something to whine about, and they need somebody to complain about, and they got to complain about Harris for whatever she does. No matter what it is, they've got to whine and complain. And that's the sad reality, is they can't even take a win. And the real problem lies not with Kamala Harris being able to just flip-flop, swap policies, take whatever's popular. Everybody does that. The problem is with Trump, in that his policies are not anything impactful. What he needs to do is he needs to create policies that Kamala Harris won't go to talk about things that she doesn't know how to implement, in the ways he's going to implement them. So Kamala Harris is having this near communistic economic plan. Trump needs to talk about the core of his economic policy. Don't just say, I'm going to make the economy great. Talk about what you're going to do specifically, what laws you're going to do, what laws you want to pass. Are you going to have tariffs? Are you not going to have tariffs? On which countries do you want to trade with? Do you not? What's the goal? What's the goal of these policies? Because running on policies doesn't do anything. If you run on policies, your policies can be stolen. If you run on a vision for America, which Trump doesn't have, he had in 2016, kind of had in 2020, this time he doesn't. Really, there's no energy, there's no vision, this is the America we're heading toward, this is the dream, this is the future, we want to look like this. It's just, no tax on tips, and we don't like illegal immigrants. We 3 million illegal immigrants every year, that's a huge problem. Instead, let's bring in 3 million legal immigrants every year. That won't cause the same problems. It's like, what is this doing? This is not like a vision. This isn't appealing to your base. It's not giving people hope in the future. Like when he was, I'm going to attack the swamp. I'm going to drain the swamp. I'm going to put all these politicians under investigation. I'm going to go and have transparency. I'm going to release all these files. It's like there's nothing there this time. And so I got to give Kamala credit because she's playing the game. And Republicans are like, how dare you play the game? How dare you? How dare you try to win? You should be losing, and you should be losing. You should run your campaign into the ground because that's what I want you to do. And the second you don't do that, I'm upset. And it's like, oh my gosh, you're pathetic. Like, I listen to Fox News and I'm like, wow, you guys are pathetic. Really. Like, you gotta complain that Kamala Harris is like playing the political game, and you're so inept that your response is not, man, we got to do something about this. We got to create a vision. We got to create hope in a future. And like, yeah, we're going to go to space, and yeah, we're going to end all these wars. And it's like, no, the response is to whine and complain that Kamala is doing what she should do as a politician. It's really sad. It's really pathetic. It shows the Republican Party has very little character, very little passion in their core roots of their ideas. They're very concerned about policy, but as soon as that policy is stolen, they don't want the policy anymore because the other person has it, and they don't have any reason to believe in it. Like, I don't care as much about the policy, the process of getting there. What I want to know is where we're going. Where are we headed? What's the vision? What are we trying to build here? Or are you just trying to band-aid solution the problems that are very apparent on the country's surface while letting the core problems just rot the system out? And if you let that happen, then no amount of policy that can immediately be undone by the next administration is going to fix anything. Talk about the core problems. Like, hey, term limits in Congress, or stopping a lot of these lobbies. You know, the lobbying is a huge problem. Maybe pass things like the single issue bills in Congress, or line item veto, to make it so you can't have these huge pork documents that have, you know, tens of thousands of items on them. It's like, nope, this document's got to be about, if it's about schools, it's got to be only about schools. You can't throw stuff in the military about that. You can't throw stuff about foreign aid in there. It's like just about schools. And then on each item, we'll say, yeah, we want to pay teachers more. No, we don't want to give more money for books. And then you can get rid of that single policy, and then you can vote on it. And if not, then you can add things in or take things out. Yeah, it's like more transparency, stuff like that, where it's like not as much political games. You can start eating away at the shenaniganry that our system currently allows. That's structural change. That's going to lead to long-lasting change. Building the border wall, and then opening it up 4 years later, and then closing it 4 years later, and then opening up 4 years later like a gate, it's not going to do anything like long term. You know, you have to have structural change, because right now, like, we could have the greatest country in the history of the world ever. Right now we're declining. We could be so much greater if we just enforced what we have, if we used what we have, but we don't. And so what you need to do is you need to change that mindset, change the mechanisms in a certain sense, and not just change policy, because policy can be undone immediately or stolen. And so when Kamala Harris is running on her traditional liberal ideals, and then all the little things that Trump's trying to bank on to win, really his campaign, he's listening to his campaign. I mean, if she steals those, like, yeah, of course she's going to win. Like, yeah, and all the whining and complaining is not going to do anything about that. So I don't know. I don't respect Kamala, but I can respect the her playing the game, right, and making Republicans cry about it. And I'm absolutely more conservative, and I want Trump to win, but I want him to win on ideas that people care about and that are going to impact their lives. And right now, what I see from Trump is, I'm like, is he really even going to do anything? Like, I think Kamala will make everything worse, and I think, you know, worst case scenario for Trump is he fixes the economy and does basically nothing else. But he could be great. He really could be great. He really could do stuff that matters. But right now, it's not looking like he will. And then he's going to lose the election because of it. People are not going to vote for you if there's no vision, there's no hope, there's no like process that you want to implement. There's no specifics. Talk about the specifics. You know, what are you going to do step by step? Laws you're going to make, people you're going to put in to make this country great again. If you can't explain that, then there's no reason that people should vote for you. And that's my biggest problem with the Trump campaign. So that's my thoughts on this. I love kind of just seeing what's happening online and like in the media, and Republicans just complaining that this is happening. I'm like, do something about it. If you hate it that much, then do something about it, because this is not a winning strategy, is to just point and say, she stole it from Trump. It's like, okay, so what? I would say the exact same thing. If Trump stole something from Kamala and the Democrats were complaining, oh, he stole a policy from Kamala, I'd be like, okay, it's a good policy. Why not take it? So We'll see if the Trump campaign shifts its positions at all, but it really needs to. It really, really needs to bring back 2016 Trump, create a vision, and stop focusing on very minorly impactful policies, because all those are going to do is get stolen by Kamala, and she's going to win, and she has every right to win because she's playing the game and Trump's playing not to lose. Kamala's playing to win, Trump's playing not to lose. So we all know how that's going to turn out. So I appreciate you watching. If you like the content, like, share, subscribe, comment. I appreciate all the comments and all the interactions you guys give. So that'd be very helpful if you could, and I'll catch you in the next one.